Welcome back to Ayew United's YouTube channel. Today we have just literally witnessed a last minute injury time equaliser from William Zaha to make it 2-2 against Crystal Palace. We were 2-0 up at half time and we have now drew against the bottom of the league team, which is really disappointing. So disheartening. I'm joined with Rich. Rich, let's just go straight into it. Let's talk about the team sheet. What was your thoughts on the team sheet when you first seen it?
What's up, Ant? To be totally honest, I was fairly happy with it. I think Slav kept a number of the players from the Wednesday game, obviously trying to hopefully keep the momentum going into the weekend. Obviously, Reed picking up an injury beforehand wasn't great, didn't help us, but I still believed we had enough on paper to win the game. I'm glad Chicharito got his goal. And when we 2-0 up against a team like Crystal Palace, bottom of the league, with all respect to them, we've got to hold on and get the 3 points. And to drop 2 points and get a draw is just, it's pathetic, really. And it was coming. Second half, we sat too deep. And yeah, it's just gut-wrenching, really. Hugely disappointed.
Let's talk about, I suppose you could say, team selection. I think there was no doubt that there was going to be some changes after the game at the midweek against Tottenham. And we were all pretty much proven correctly that Ayew managed to keep his position in the team. Now, if you rate Ayew's first half performance again, I mean, for me personally, he performed really well. His work rate was really high. He was determined to get the ball. He was pressing the Crystal Palace defence. And for me, what I seen was a confident and fit West Ham team. The one player that I was slightly concerned about, and I always have been a bit concerned about really in our team, is Hernández. I don't really know what he can bring. What's your thoughts on his performance today, Rich?
Very average. I think midweek he was decent. He had a great shot that led to Ayew's first goal. And I think Slaven just wanted to try and obviously keep the momentum going and give him a chance. To be fair, I don't think he was any better or worse than most of our players today. No one really stood out. First half, Palace, it was a scrappy first half. Both teams could have maybe nicked one or two. We were clinical. Hernández, great goal out of the foot. Ayew, unbelievable goal. What a finish. But you know what? There wasn't much to differentiate us and Palace in the first half, apart from our 2 goals.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, Palace were better than us. We sat back. It was just a matter of time, really, before they were going to get back into the game. And Ogbonna, again, conceding a stupid penalty. Don't know what his buzz is, but he seems to be very clumsy. And again, it's just gut-wrenching. You've got to be picking up 3 points. 2-0 up away from home. No excuse.
Let's talk about our defence. The biggest concern I've got is probably in our defence when we've got players like Ogbonna and Font. I just don't think that they are good enough or savvy enough really to play in the Premier League. I know Font has got a history of playing in the Premier League under Southampton, but I think, like I've said previously, when we came along and offered the money, I think it was a no-brainer for Southampton, and I just think he's too slow to deal with any of the forward attacking line. Like, if you put Zaha against Font, he's going to get beat every single week. And again, he was doing this today. He was stepping out of position quite a lot, and this time there was no Winston Reid to support them or help them. The same goes with Ogbonna. I mean, for me, he's just one big calamity. Like, on the odd occasion, he can look fantastic, like a world beater, like the reasons why he gets selected for Italy, and then the next moment he makes the worst decisions ever, and then consistently makes the worst decisions all the time. And this is what's costing us games, and these are the things that are absolutely so frustrating to me. And then you look at things like Zabaleta beside him and Creswell, because I thought Creswell had another good game today. I thought Zabaleta had a good game, and he came off obviously. And I don't know if he's missing the next game against Liverpool because of that yellow card. I
think he's suspended now.
Yeah, he's suspended for the next game.
Picked up too many yellows.
Yeah.
One thing that I can't understand was Creswell coming off at half time. I thought Creswell had a good first half. We've brought on Masuaku. Okay, he's still a decent player, but there was no need to make that change.
Yeah.
Absolutely no need to make that change. And now we're 1 sub down. We've brought on Antonio for Zabaleta, and then suddenly we've got 1 sub left. I thought this game was calling out for Andy Carroll to come on for the last 25 minutes just to cause chaos, but we couldn't do that, and we just kept dropping deeper and deeper. Yeah.
And to be honest, I think this is a kind of game, and I'm not going to have a right dig at Slaven Bilic for making a selection, because we were all calling out for changes. He's made the changes. It's just, again, it seems to be like we are West Ham, we are a bipolar team, as it's been mentioned previously, And the thing is, it's like the substitutions that are getting made are for me, I think they're a bit. Sometimes we're seeing the right ones, sometimes we're not. It's coming at the wrong time. So it used to be so late. We used to make substitutions, and now we seem to be making them so early. And I'm a bit like I feel like we're going out and setting up like an old school Italian football team. We score 2 goals really early, and then we defend that lead, and we don't need to defend that lead, because after we scored those 2 goals, and what quality goals both of them were, Ayew and Hernández. That's the exact reason what they're there to do. It's the exact reason what they're designed for this team. But we just go and we try and set up in this old school Italian style defensive, but we don't have the players to be able to do that. It's the most frustrating thing for me, to be honest. Mark Noble's performance, what's your thought on Mark Noble?
I thought he was bang average today. I love him, and I thought he did really well during the week. I think he was someone we needed. We were missing that leader on the pitch, someone that could really spur on the rest of the team in the dressing room and get them pumped up. And I thought today he was a bit average. A few heavy touches, a bit lethargic. But he wasn't great. He wasn't horrible either. He was just average.
Yeah.
What really annoyed me is parts of the second half. We were dropping so deep, and we had chances to really hit them on the counter. There were times when there was 3-on-2. I think I counted 2 or 3 3-on-2s that we had, where we could have easily gone and banged in a third goal. I would have been game over. But instead of hitting them on the counter, we slowed down the play, went back, and then lost the ball. And
absolutely.
We had so many chances to kill off the game, and we just didn't do that, which was very disappointing again.
I think something we're looking at here, we've got the match stats in there, it's the amount of shots and attempts that Crystal Palace had. I mean, it's frightening. It's like, why are we allowing them to get in those positions? Like, I think in the first half there was a couple of wasted chances from Crystal Palace, but in the second half they were making a really constant threat all the time, and we were allowing them to come forward and do that. And exactly what you said, Rich, we weren't pressing like we did in the first half. We are a team. It's like watching 2 different football teams for 2 different football halves. Happened at Tottenham, it's happened again today, and we press. I mean, when you watched Ayew's ability to get up and put the pressure on the Crystal Palace defence, they were panicking, they didn't know what to do, and we were on the front foot. And then in the second half, we allowed them to constantly come back. We sat back a little bit more, and I'm not blaming Ayew, and I'm not blaming Chicharito. I'm pretty much. There's just a problem there in the midfield and in the defence. There's nothing strong enough. I think I look at Lanzini again, and I'm like, I feel so sorry for him, because he looks around and he's like, where's my other creative player? He doesn't. Yeah. He's not going to pass the ball to Fernandes and get anything. Fernandes tried a few big long balls today. He made some work and some not, but it was bang average today, and that's just not what we want to see. There are players within our squad that we would rather be in that position. A big shout out from me personally goes to Joe Hart. I don't think his positioning was wrong for any of those goals today. And in actual fact, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up getting a man of the match performance.
Mate, he was. I thought he was world class today. Genuinely world class. He made 4 or 5 magnificent saves in the first half. He made a double save, and okay, to be fair, I don't think he knew much about it. But wow, he made 3 or 4. 5, 6, I don't even know how many saves he made, and they were world class. I thought without him, they could have had 3 or 4 today.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, he's come under a lot of pressure. A lot of people are calling for Adrian to come in after his performance on Wednesday, but Hart, after what I saw today, I think he needs to take a bow. I thought he was world class.
And exactly, and do you know what? I'm backing that up 100%. But what I will say is, I'm really concerned about the amount of times that he is actually being called into action, or our goalkeepers have been called into action. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, I can't count. I mean, I can't even remember really. Is it Speroni making any decent quality saves? I mean, apart from the 2 goals that went in, like, there was nothing there, and we should be making that effort to attack and attack and attack. We're 2-0 up at half time. We're West Ham fans. We know we're going to be in for a tough second half. Let's make the right substitutions. Let's do the right formation, and let's play it. I mean, they're struggling. They're a struggling team. They've just been beat 4-1 by Bristol City in the week, and we've gone there and we were 2-0 up at half time. We've let that defeat go. It's just a really frustrating time just now.
I mean, we've missed a massive opportunity today. I don't think we'll get any better chance away from home to get 3 points. We're playing the worst side in the league, low on confidence, barely scoring goals, 2-0 up at half time. Only West Ham could manage to find a way to screw that up. You couldn't write a script like that. No. I think what upset me again most is too many of our main players went missing in the second half.
Absolutely.
Ayew was tops in the first half. Second half, I don't actually remember him. I barely remember him touching the ball.
Yeah.
He went missing, so that's upsetting again.
Yeah, and I think to be honest, there's definitely an issue there with formation and tactics. There's definitely something not right, because it's very confusing. The fact
No
that
plan
we can,
B.
yeah, the fact that we can go into every single game and not have a clue who's going to be starting, not have a clue of what formation we're going to be playing, and the inconsistency of different players playing is a big concern for me, because these players need games, they need a run of games. Now, I wouldn't be surprised moving into the next game that we see a few other big changes in the side again. And what's that going to do for confidence for players like, let's say Cresswell, let's say for Masuaku, because Masuaku started against Brighton in the wrong position.
Yeah.
He never started against today, and then he got brought on at half time in a different position, and it's just all over the place, and it's
Yeah, it definitely is. I think Slaven still doesn't know his best 11. We're more than a quarter way through the season, and Slav doesn't really know who should be playing week in, week out. As you mentioned with Masuaku and Cresswell, they must go into every game not knowing whether they're going to be on the bench, whether they're going to start, whether they're going to play on the wing, whether they're going to play left back. It's just, as you said, our formation's a mess at the moment. We don't have a game plan. There's no plan B. We were 2-0 up. Palace were hammering us second half, and we just didn't have any way to counter that. We had no plan on how we were going to avoid them completely peppering our goal. It was just a matter of time, really.
Rich, I tell you something. The biggest kind of, we've got some really big fixtures coming up. We've got Liverpool on Saturday, followed by Watford, and an informed Watford. We've got Leicester, who seem to be just always kind of performing against us just now. And then we've got Everton, Man City, and then we've got the run into Christmas, which is really difficult. We need points on this table. Like, we need points and we need momentum, and we thought we'd get some momentum. Do you know what? We haven't been beat. That's key. We haven't been beat. It's a point. But when you're 2-0 up, there's points getting dragged away from nothing. Like when we were at Burnley, we had the opportunity and it just got pulled away from us. We're at Crystal Palace, we had the opportunity and it just got pulled away from us, and it's happening all so often. We're either getting smashed by teams who are potentially being just promoted, or we're just playing teams and just scraping or losing the points when we have the opportunity. Like, it's
mate, we haven't learned. Last season we dropped the most points from winning positions in the whole league.
Absolutely.
And this season we're doing it again. Burnley, as you've mentioned, this game today, these are massive games where we've got to be picking up points, because as you've said, the run-in that we have in the next couple of games is very, very difficult. I don't see us picking up many points.
Yeah.
Knowing West Ham, we will pick up points somehow. We'll
somewhere along the way.
Beat Arsenal, Chelsea, or City, because West Ham do that. As you mentioned, the bipolar. But this was a massive opportunity missed today.
Something I had to think about before we leave this review today. Something I had to think about was, we probably have players that Bilic can't handle their personalities and can't handle if they don't get chosen. So he's going to have to deal with an Arnautovic today, who never even got a chance. I think Carroll will be okay with it, and he's got other players, Obiang, and these players are all going to want first team football. And
Absolutely.
I feel like Bilic is potentially kind of submitting into the pressure of giving them all a chance and trying to rotate the squad, but we don't have that squad to be able to do that, and we need to go out with a strong 11 and consistently play with that strong 11. And moving forward, that's what we need. I was delighted to see Chicharito start today, and I think when you see his goal, it's proven that play him. If you look at the goal, we'd never done that anywhere else in the game. It was a couple of balls out to Cresswell, first time into the box, and who was there to finish it? Chicharito. There was none of this hanging about, waiting, crossing it over tall. Get the ball into the box first time, and he'll potentially be there at the end of the chances. But have we got anything else to say, Rich, before we finish up?
No, I think we've covered everything really. I think we need to try and be as positive as possible. We've picked up a point away from home. It's not a loss, as you've said, but a massive disappointment. Hopefully we can just manage to kick on in the next few games. But I think we've covered everything. Yeah.
It's tough being a West Ham fan. We are on the craziest, probably world's most expensive roller coaster. A roller coaster of emotions. We're a bipolar football club. It's the most frustrating football club to support. But you know what? We bleed claret and blue, and we can't physically help it. We're going to be there through thick and thin.
Absolutely.
Make sure you subscribe to our channel. There's going to be competition coming up. We've announced it today. I think one of the guys put it on, and it's going to be announced. So get liking, sharing, subscribing. The key message is just get subscribing to this channel. We've got loads more cool content coming your way. I have been Anton. That's been Rich, and we are Ayew United.